Hello guys, in the previous tutorial we have seen how to execute a simple hello world program, and in this video tutorial we learn something about variable. So what is mean by a variable? Any ideas? Okay, cool. A variable is nothing but a storage location or a memory location where your data will be stored. You can save whatever type of value in it, and a variable value can be changed on assignment dynamically on runtime during program execution. So how to create a variable in Python? So this was the syntax of creating a variable in Python. It was nothing but, for example, let's say this following statement. We are creating a variable name called word and assigning a value hello world to this variable called word. When you print this word, as we had it in the previous tutorials, you will get hello world as printed. So let's check out some examples programmatically in terminal as well as scripts. Uh, and as of now, let's check or let's see how this variable declaration is done in other programming languages like Java. Here, the equal to sign is used to assign values to variables. Let's take Java into consideration. Here, we have created a variable called number variable and assigned a value of 10 to this variable and the data type as int. This is the most important part in other languages. Uh, Now, the number variables stores only integer values in it because we have declared this number variable of data type called int. Similarly, in case of other statements, for example, a string variable, we have created a string variable and assigned a value hello world to this string variable of data type as string, and hence string variable stores only uh, string data type values. Similarly, with the case of float variable. But in case of Python, there is no need of declaration. I mean, there is no need to declare the data types of variables in before. I mean, there is no declaration of variables needed, and you can create them dynamically at runtime in the program. Do you got what I mean? Okay, here you go. In case of Java and C other programming languages, you need to explicitly declare what type of data you need to store in the variable. It means variable declaration is needed according to data type, as we have discussed in this example. Hence, it is mandatory to declare the data type in case of other programming languages. But as we have discussed in case of Python, there is no need of explicit declaration of data types when creating or declaring the variables. We'll see that in this following example. Let's take this first statement. We have declared a variable called integer variable and assigned a value 10 to it. And similarly with the other variables, in case of string variable, we have assigned a string called hello world to this string variable and uh, value of 120.00 to this float variable. So how does Python know what type of data type to be assigned to this particular variable? So that's an interesting question and interesting feature of Python. So Python itself identifies what type of data type according to the value you assign to this variable dynamically at the runtime. For example, you have assigned a 10 value to this integer variable, and during runtime, I mean during the execution of the program, Python identifies the data type of this integer variable based on the data you have assigned to this particular variable. Similarly, in case of this string variable, Python identifies the data type of this string variable as string based on the value you have assigned. Since it was a string, Python identifies the data type as string. Similarly with other variables, float variable and the list variable. Let's implement these examples programmatically through interpreter and also through script. Open the terminal and open the interpreter. Okay, we are into interpreter. Let's create some variables with the different data type values. Okay, here we have created 5 variables A, B, C, D, E, F and assigned different data type values to it. In case of A, we have assigned an integer value to A and hello world. In case of B, we have assigned a string called hello world to B, and similarly with other variables C, D, E, F. And for F, E, and D, these are the list data type, and this was dictionary data type, and this is a tuple data type. Don't worry about this. We'll dig into deep when in the next tutorials for these kind of data types. Okay, so let's print these variables. There you go. Python prints all the values of the variables that was stored in their memory locations. Okay, so you can able to identify, I mean, you can able to ask Python what type of data a particular value stored in it by using a Python function called type. For example, let's take the variable A. You want to check what was the exact data type of that particular variable A. You can do so by using a function called type. So you can able to see here the data type of that particular variable was int, since you have assigned an integer value to that A. Similarly, we can able to check the data type of all the other remaining variables. B, and it was string, since we have assigned a string value to the variable B. Similarly, we can able to check the types of all the remaining data types. There you go. The data type of C was a float. The data type of D was a list. The data type of E was a dictionary. The data type of a variable F was tuple. So in this way, you can able to declare the variables and assign different data types of variables to that particular variables, and Python does the rest of identifying the data type of that particular variable. And you can also able to check what type of data a particular variable stored by using a Python built-in function called type. And one more important thing was during declaring or initialization of the variables, you need to take care of not using the Python default keywords. Okay, here Python comes with a list of keywords that can be used out of the box from Python. Let's see what are the list of keywords that are available from Python. So these are the list of keywords that comes with Python out of the box, and assert, break, etc. So when you are declaring a particular variable, be careful not to use a word from one of these lists. If you do so, Python will throw an error of you cannot use that. Let's check this. See, you can see Python has thrown an error. You can't able to use that, and the error was syntax error, invalid syntax. Because you can't able to use the default Python keyword as a variable here. So Python knows what type of data you stores in a variable during runtime based on the type of value you assign to it. In Python, you can also do some multiple assignments. Okay, so you can understand by an example. From this statement, we have created 3 variables A, B, C at a time and assigned a value 1 to it. So this is called multiple assignment. We can assign a value to multiple variables at a time in Python. Similarly, you can able to check what type of data it has stored. As I have showed previously, it was int. When you check this type for other variables B and C, and the same type was integer. And also you can perform some arithmetic operations on the above variables if you would like to. For example, create an integer variable. Now you can able to perform some arithmetic operations like plus, minus, integer on the above variables that we have declared or created. Let's do that. There you go. We have the output of 30 when we added that above two variables. And the important point to note here was you can do or you can perform arithmetic operations on the same data type variables. For example, here into variable and into variable 2 are the variables of data type integer, since we have assigned 10 and 20, which are the integers. You cannot perform arithmetic operations on two different data type. For example, you can't add an integer variable and a string variable. Let's check that. Now you can't perform arithmetic operations on the above on these two variables, since there are variables of two different data types. Sorry, actually you need to create a string variable with a string value, and so that it will become a string data type. Let's check what we have created. So we have assigned 30 to integer variable. Let's check the value of string variable. Hello world. Let's try to add these two. Now, there you go. Python has thrown an error saying that your unsupported operands, you can't add two different data types, integer and string. So this was an error which was called as a type error. There are many types of errors in Python which comes out of the box. You can able to learn them in our future tutorials. So arithmetic operations can be performed on same data type variables, but not different data type variables. You can perform different arithmetic operations like multiplication, addition, and subtraction, etc. Okay, guys, that's all for this video, and I hope you enjoyed and learned something about variables and variable types and multiple assignments and checking the actual data type of a particular variable you have created. Let's do something important. Let's learn something important stuff in our next video tutorials. Thanks very much, guys.